Hey YouTube friends, it's the Red Pipster here, following on from a discussion about tools of the occult, and going to look at one particular tool right now, which is the most common form of occult practice to be found in certainly in the Western world, and that is astrology. Big interest in astrology, sells newspapers. Not many people buy certain newspapers if you know a star section in it. And even some of the most respectable newspapers in Britain have a leisure section, and the daily horoscopes will be a part of that, and they do get read, believe me. We've all done it. We've all sat around the coffee table at lunch break or whatever, and someone's pulled out a newspaper or a copy of an OK magazine or whatever and said, "No, what's your star sign?" And read the stars for today of whatever you might be, a Cancer or Libra or Virgo, or whatever it might be that you were born under. Now, to be honest, on the whole, that doesn't do any harm. It's a good laugh. Yeah, it's fun at times. You know, who's met the tall, dark stranger today? Who's razzled and dazzled you? Oh, I have. Yeah, I've met them today, and they've been razzled and dazzled me. It's my new boss. Offered me a pay rise. Oh really? I met a tall dark stranger who offered me a chance to be sacked. So, okay, we've all done this sort of thing, and to be honest, it doesn't do. You won't end up becoming demon possessed because of that. But the real dangers come involved is when it's always taken that one step further, and that's the thing with these occult practices. There's always one step further to go to get better revelation, because most of what you get in the newspapers and magazines are very general comments, which we all go through. And there'll be people who actually become convinced that they are actually have the characteristics, and they are those type of people of what a Virgo should be, or what a Cancerian should be, or what an Arian should be. Which is the star sign I was born under, and they're still very generic things, and we all have these characteristics to one degree or another. But then, of course, this is where the science comes into it. Then people would go further and have a personalised chart done, and they would go to an astrologer who would draw up a personalised chart, and from there's more information that takes place. It's not always the astrologer who gets the revelations as such. Sometimes it's the person involved who obviously is most at risk, but they're the ones who are in the most danger, because some astrologers, particularly in some newspaper astrologers, they're actually just in it for the money. They don't believe as such. One guy on Kilroy's program a few years ago, well, that's not actually on the program, but backstage, off air, he said to Doug Harris from the Reach Out Trust, he said, "I don't believe in this." He said, "No, it's just a job. It's just a job. I'm a gifted writer. I'm quite imaginative, and I get a decent salary from it." So he didn't actually believe in it. It's nothing really. You've got to be a devotee to be able to do, if you know the technical side of things and how to draw up charts and stuff. But for some, it can be much more, and there's always that extra bit of revelation that if they get closer, that's the thing they want to do, and that's when some of the big problems come in, because there are lots of people out there who are involved in other forms of occultism, in seances and tarot cards, and other forms of palmistry, fortune telling, and astrology got them into it, or astrology becomes a part of it, because there's only so much information you can sometimes get from a star system. Other people suddenly found that they were getting information they couldn't possibly have got from the stars. One guy on a talk I listened to the other day, he said It said, I did a chart for someone and I was able to pinpoint accidents in their lives. And they were saying, what happened in their lives, they would have accidents, etc. They never got this information from the star sign. They got it from somewhere else. They got it from somewhere else, and they realised that what they were doing was channeling a familiar spirit or spirit guide. And astrology was the key to them to receiving that power to do so. Now, I remember that, reading history about stuff, and there's something I didn't realise was that, the Nazis were really into occultism. Even Ronald Reagan's wife, Nancy Reagan, wouldn't make any major moves or decisions to recommend or whatever to her husband until she went to and spoke to her astrologer first. I'm not saying she was a Nazi or whatever. I mean, Rudolf Hess came to Scotland not on Hitler's instructions, but purely because his astrologer said, "You will bring peace." The stars say you will bring peace between England and Germany. And went against the Fuhrer and found himself a prisoner of war in Scotland. And then you got other people, in charge of businesses in this economic climate, actually not making major decisions until they've consulted their astrologers to see whether they should be making certain people redundant or whether they should be investing their stocks and shares in certain places. Some people won't even get out of bed in the morning if the star sign, if their horoscope the day before hasn't been positive enough, and then it becomes life controlling. Forget the opening up to any spiritual dangers from this, but surely if something that becomes so life controlling is making people not want to get up in the morning because they think it will be too dangerous for them to leave the house, that's life controlling. And that is serious stuff, okay? But I remember listening to Russell Grant. Shortly after I became a Christian, I started meeting some people who started saying astrology was wrong, because I was an avid believer in astrology. I was very much fascinated by it. And I remember listening to Russell Grant give a defense of his position as an astrologer, as a Christian spiritualist. I didn't actually know what a Christian spiritualist was at the time, but something in my gut, in my spirit as a young Christian, didn't seem right here. Where he quoted the New English Bible and quoted from Matthew's Gospel, and it said that astrologers came from the east and followed a star and said, and then went to Jerusalem. The story of the 3 wise men. And many astrologers point to that passage in the Bible and say, there are astrologers in the Bible, and astrology led the wise men to Jesus. Well, there's nothing from there to actually suggest that. Nothing to say in the Greek text, the original manuscripts it's written in, the original language it's written in, that these guys were astrologers. But you never hear of astrologers actually saying, something strange has happened in the cosmos. There must be a king being born. Let's up all our bags and tools and let's just go and visit this land. You never see that at all. Even then I would say that something happened in the heavens, that these guys, even if they were astrologers, said, look, this is amazing, we've got to do something, we've got to follow this now. And they left all the things behind. The turn side is, of course, this star led them to Herod, the very enemy of Jesus Christ, not to Jesus Christ himself. And secondly, it comes to the aspect of the fact that everywhere in the Bible, astrology is at best mocked by God and mocked by the prophets of God as being useless and vain. And you can't use the Bible. Some of these things, particularly Christian spiritualists, do. They use the Bible and Jesus and God to say that what they're doing is right, and then they go and practice something completely different. So astrology, although can be on the surface very harmful, it can be very deceptive and can open many doors to darker forces. So please be aware of this.